When we think of any iconic band or artist, we usually default to the vocalist. But why is this? As a singer myself, it's pretty obvious, because the vocalist is doing the one thing that we're all kind of capable of doing: singing. We can usually at least mimic or mock what a singer's doing, or hum it at the very least. This isn't to say that we don't praise guitarists like Jason Richardson, Jeff Loomis, Misha Mansour, but you have to be part of the rock world to appreciate what they do properly. Regardless of whether you're an engineer, mixer, bedroom producer, or songwriter, there's one thing we all inevitably have to do: track vocals at a professional level. And by the end of this video, you'll know the 5 do's and don'ts tracking professional vocals. I'm gonna assume treatment is a given, so we're not gonna get into all that. So what's happening, fam? Miami here with JST, and today I'll be doing the vocal demonstration showcasing the right and wrong way to do things when tracking vocals. I'll be using a pretty affordable tube mic too. We got the Rode K2 here, you know, real budget friendly. It's awesome. I've been recording myself and other vocalists over the course of a decade, so this is something that I just do subconsciously at this point. I actually need all of you to subconsciously by hitting the subscribe button below, and if I bring up any points in this video that don't ring a bell, I hope you do, so you can be notified when we upload new videos. That transition was not as good as your last one. Dude, how am I gonna beat that last one? It was immaculate. And you made a transition using the word subconscious and didn't even bring me into it? You're slipping, bro. Ignore him. My transition game is still crazy. Let's get into the first topic, no specific order. Here's a quick one: using microphone isolation tools. I'm not gonna waste a whole topic on this. I'm just gonna suggest for tracking vocals, don't use things like this. It fares better for podcasting and stuff like that. What is this, the eyeball, chaotic eyeball thing? Yeah, let's just skip past that. Number 1, knowing when to use pitch correction. This is a big argument between people because they choose to have a singular stance on it. Track with auto-tune, never use auto-tune, etc. The reality is it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. Remember this, if nothing else from this video: feel and passion will always be more important than hitting the right note in the studio. I can tune a vocal, but I can't give you a personality. You know what I mean? Let me show you an example of just trying to hit notes versus bringing personality into a take. All the vampires walking through the valley move west down Ventura Boulevard, and all the vampires walking through the valley move west down Ventura Boulevard, and all the bad boys are standing in the shadows, and all the good girls are home with broken hearts. You have to be able to tell the confidence the vocalist has in themselves and the confidence that you have in the vocalist in a very short amount of time. Pro tip: if the vocalist is confident in himself, but you're not sure if you'll be able to tune it later, route the vocal so he hears it with no tuning, but you do. That way you'll always know if a take is usable even if they're not hitting notes the way that they think they are. This works great for bands that are super against ever hearing auto-tune on their voice, and if they have no confidence, just put some light tuning on their monitoring to help move them along. If someone goes into the booth and starts doing the lip trills like just stop it, bro. We know you didn't warm up. Don't try and pretend now. When you're tracking and can tell that a singer is just trying to hit notes of the song, this is the time you want to just pull up real-time tuning software to help give the vocalist the confidence that they're going to need to finish that performance. Number 2, using mic placement to your advantage. Let's point out the obvious first. The usual distance you stand from a microphone is 6 inches to a foot. That's not what we're gonna focus on today. Just know that you wanna keep a pretty similar distance to the microphone in your performance. This is because of the proximity effect. Going too close to the mic will introduce low-end frequencies that cause you to have buildup of your subs frequently. Oh, you thought that was gonna be a transition? We don't got time for all that today, because we have to talk about knowing your vocalist style and trying to create a good balance. If you have a vocalist that sings from their diaphragm, the best way to use mic placement to your advantage is not have them right up on the microphone. We want a good balance for them, and they'll already have tons more low end than somebody who would be singing from their nasal cavity. So we want them to back away from the microphone. And if I stand outside, I'll be waiting for you all night. And if I stand outside, I'll be waiting for you all night. And And if I stand outside, I'll be waiting for you all night. Someone that is tenor or sings more from their nasal cavity can actually use this to their advantage by going closer to a microphone. Think of Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins, Puddle of Mud, Newfound Glory, Bowling for Soup, that kind of thing. And it's all downhill from here. You know what I mean? They don't tend to fight the same issues, so pushing them closer on a mic actually adds some weight to their voice. And if I stand outside, I'll be waiting for you all night. And if I stand outside, I'll be waiting for you all night. And if I stand outside, I'll be waiting for you all night. And of course, mixed voice or head voice, this is the sweet spot in which I like to sing about a hand's length away from the microphone. And if I stand outside, I'll be waiting for you all night. And if I stand outside, I'll be waiting for you all night. And if I stand outside, I'll be waiting for you all night. Being the right distance away from the mic is literally a form of EQing before it even hits the DAW. Use it wisely. Number 3. Gainstaging. This one is pretty simple. Pay attention to the gain meter in dynamic songs. This is definitely going to change from softer parts to higher parts, but a mistake a lot of people make is not gainstaging right, so people hear their monitoring and think they have to go closer or further away from a microphone. That's not the proper solution. Just make sure that you're getting a healthy signal that's not clipping. Push for some color if your preamp's capable. Most budget ones aren't when it comes to color, because undergaining can add unwanted noise to the signal. And too much gain, well, we don't usually want clip vocals unless it's an artistic choice, so make sure that you aren't hitting the red. But there is something red that you can hit, that subscribe button. Transition game leveled up, and I have redeemed myself. Proper monitoring. This should be a no-brainer, but how do you expect a vocalist to perform properly if they can't even hear themselves the way that they want to? That doesn't mean you need to listen the same way. If you want to hear a dry take, just make sure that they're all set up. It will put them in the space of the song instead of feeling like they're trying to become part of the song. Also, you want to use something really low latency. For my monitoring, I always use Howard Benson vocals because it's very simple to turn on delay, reverb, lo-fi effects, you know, all that basic stuff on the fly. Check, check. Okay, what you're hearing is what I like to hear in my monitoring. It can be a bit much. You can turn the echo off. Check, check, check. Okay. But pretty much. And all the vampires walking through the valley move west out, you know. So this is pretty much, yeah, like what I would want for my monitoring. Whatever you're using, just make sure that they're comfortable. And if it's someone doing vocals for the first time, do not take their word for it. Check beforehand that things sound the way that they're supposed to in their headphones that you provided. I'm just saying, it's part of being an engineer. Selecting the proper microphone for the vocalist. This is not always the most expensive mic. Remember, when you're using expensive microphones, they're typically very pristine. I have mics that can hear a fly in the room, and I'm not exaggerating. When you have a really amazing vocalist, it's fun to pull these out, but when the vocalist is subpar and lacks technique, you're better off just using an SM7B. It's gonna hide that bad breath control, those weird little sounds people make between words, and of course the lip smacks that become oh so apparent when you're tracking into compression. So let's go over these one more time. Knowing when to use pitch correction, proper monitoring, using mic placement to your advantage, gainstaging, and selecting the right microphone. Like I said, you can't give a singer personality, but you can definitely show them how to express it the right way. Each one of these tips is a little piece that make up the entire pie. Make sure to utilize these the next time you do a session, and you'll be one step closer to having your perfect mix. If you're an engineer on the come up, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. You only have to do it one time. And tap that bell for notifications so when a video drops, you know the location. Until next time, I am out of here. Mic drop. Except as engineers we know, I'd never really drop this thing because that get really expensive. Later.